14,000 point. Okay, so it's going to take a very, 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 very long time to get tax relief for that £15,000 worth of expenditure, even if it is 100% business. The only assets you can't depool are cars, and that's the problem. With a van that came and went in 3 years, you'd depool it. Well, actually, at the moment, you'd get AIA on it anyway. You can't get AIA on cars either. So that's why it's specific to cars, because all the ways in which you might be able to ameliorate this position are closed to you. But then I said to myself, well, what happened in year 3? Did my rep start travelling by train? I wouldn't recommend it. So, no, actually, he had another car. So now I've looked at the real situation, which is each 3 years the car is replaced by another one. So what happens now? Now, for the alert, I have changed the colours round. Sorry about that, but I then embedded it in PowerPoint and can't unembed it to change it back again. So there it stays. So the top line, the red line, is my cash cost, which is £5,000 a year, and at the end of 12 years has reached 5 12s, 60, and there you are, 60,000. The tax relief I've had on that is the blue line. And you'll see that it lags way behind. Well, you could have guessed that because actually you've seen the other graph. But the big point is, and if I just at year 10 drop a vertical for you, that distance on the graph, what it means, we're going back to GCSE maths now, what that distance means is the money you've spent and are still waiting for tax relief on. You've had the amount of blue, but you haven't had the next bit. And that's the problem, because those lines, if you now imagine them going on and on and on and on, they are diverging, they are getting further apart. So the amount of tax relief you're still waiting for gets bigger and bigger and goes on getting bigger. In fact, I would argue you're not going to get that tax relief. And you're not until you cease trading. That's when you're going to cash in. And you better hope you've got some profits, because you're going to have the biggest balancing allowance you've ever seen. So you're not getting capital allowances on cars, you just aren't. Now the reason I used a rep and a fast depreciation is that the obvious solution is to lease it, because then you'll get either all your leasing payments or 15% knocked off, and you can't say fairer than that. But the problem is, if he's doing 50,000 miles a year, as I still do around about 45,000 miles a year, the leasing company, well, I'll take a hand off, to be honest, because you're going to pay the value of the car in excess mileage charges. So this is not a car that it is appropriate to lease. And there are lots of them around. Trust me, they're all with me in the travelling. Okay, so there are lots of them. And actually, of course, there are a lot more vans than there used to be, because that's the answer. If you're doing a lot of miles, it's have a van, because that way you'll get the tax relief on it, and that way you'll pay a lower benefit in kind. You won't quite have the street cred, but you can always put alloy wheels on it or something. So a little bit about why I feel that the company car is got one foot in the grave and the other on a banana skin, to be honest. Right, I'm looking at my big clock. I've got 3 minutes left and quite a lot to say. But no, not too much, not too much. Just a very, very quick look at these OTS proposals. I think they're absolutely fab. I think you're going to welcome them. Press something then. And I think that the biggies are the last two, because they're going to materially affect the work you do over, I would say, about the next 5 years. I'm not too excited about the other two, but just let me say a couple of minutes about payrolling and the exemption for expenses. What payrolling benefits means is that you put benefits in kind into the payroll, and the tax and any Class 1A is dealt with on a month-by-month basis. Now, the main objection by small businesses to the consultation donkey's years ago on this is you might as well tell me to do 12p 11Ds. Thank you very much, I'd rather just have to do one. So, which is fair comment. However, What's happening now is quite rapidly, payroll software providers are switching on to payrolling benefits, and even HMRC, as part of their next iteration of payroll tools, will be providing a payrolling benefits free unit. Now, don't hold your breath and wait for it, just you know, in good time. But you will be able to say for a particular employee, do you want to payroll benefits? Yes, please. Which benefits do you want to payroll? Car. Okay. What's the list price? What's the emissions? What's the fuel type for fuel? Right, done it. Okay, so it will become very, very easy. And then when the car changes, you just go in and change the car. No more P11D, no more notices of coding that are wrong 4 times before they get anything approaching right. So money collected a lot quicker. No more P800s where they didn't process P11Ds for 2 years. It's a win-win because P11Ds are all handled by hand. I know they're machine read, but somebody opens envelopes and piles them up. That's money, that's people. They haven't got enough people. So this is a win for absolutely everybody, and the win for your clients is it is going to be absolutely entirely optional. Anyone who wants to can. If you want to for a few people, you can. If you want to for a few people for one benefit in kind and not the others, you can. It will be a free choice matrix. So I think that's quite welcome, but when you see the bottom one in action, you'll realise that life is really going to change. Benefits in, reimbursed expenses are in law taxable, and it is required that you either make a claim or that the employer satisfies HMRC and gets a dispensation. But again, there's a lot of entries on lots of bits of paper. P11D, self-assessment returns, claim forms, and all the rest of it. And how much tax comes out of that is a big fat zero. Dispensations need to be processed, need to be agreed, need to be written about. Still no tax. So, a radical solution, throw it all away. Don't do it. Reimbursed expenses will be exempt from tax. No reporting, no claims, nothing. You will only report if you pay taxable expenses. That is certainly coming. It may take a couple of years to get it all off the ground because there's a lot of work to be done. For example, those of you who've read the tax version of War and Peace, otherwise known as Booklet 490, Guidance on Travelling Expenses, will realise that the average client has no hope. Yeah, no, the revenue know that as well. They're going to throw it away and start again. New guidance on multiple workplaces, simpler. So there's a lot of preparatory work to do, but that's going to come. Okay, last slide. Thank you very much, everybody, that I nagged and cajoled and begged to sign the DRD petition. It wasn't the petition what won it, but the petition helped, because over the last couple of months, that petition has clicked up by about 100 every day. And what that says to the Chancellor, and in particular David Gauke, the Minister, is this ain't going away, mate. This is not going to go away, because lots of people feel strongly about it. And it's a combination of efforts. I will say that the ICAEW were really at the forefront of this. You know, we're not going to crow and say nobody else did anything, because lots of people did. But I know that there are people here who work very, very hard indeed, lobbying, going to see people, private meetings, sending private messages to the Minister on Twitter, saying, you know, I need to come and talk to you about it. So the biggies that we've got are that HMRC will always have face-to-face contact with a debtor before they swing DRD into process. That was one of my concerns because of brown envelope phobia, or he's moved and you haven't processed the letter that said, here's this new address. So they will actually see and speak to the debtor or alleged debtor, and I think we'll flush out a lot of rubbish there. Secondly, if you get a DRD notice, you will be able to go to court and get it stopped. So we will have judicial oversight, not before, but before money can be taken. And I think that external judicial oversight is also essential. Congratulations to everybody who was involved in any small way. This is a major win. This is as big as No to November. Easily as big. Some of you don't even know what I'm talking about. Well, I tell you what, you wouldn't have been here today because the 31st of January would have been the 30th of November without a campaign by a gentleman called Paul Aplin, who got an OBE for that, which was fantastic and well deserved. And Paul was very central to this campaign as well. So, I have stolen 3 minutes from your coffee break. Do you know what? I guess there may be questions. We could take just a couple, and then we'll break for coffee, and I'll look so you can come and grab me and ask me. But I have to go by about 11:45 because I'm doing a 3-hour webinar. Can you believe? I'll try and find the will to live at the end of that. Okay, gentlemen here, there's a mic coming, so if you just wait.
I wonder if you could say something about the doctor with several places of employment.
Yes.
And thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, not a good outcome. So this is the Samadian case, I think there are a number of angles. Let me just quickly run through. I think the big problem that he had was he had a number of places of business, and one of them was his home, but it was not central enough to all of the range of things he was doing, and that is really why the case was held. Now, I know that HMRC are very keen now to go out to medics and take that little case on the road. And therefore, I think you all need to be aware of the case if you act particularly for doctors, because it's particularly doctors who've maybe got some private consultancy and some employment who I think are exposed to this. And HMRC know that. They understand aspects of the profession, and I think they will start hawking that one around. So if you don't know about the Samadian case, find something. If you search engine it, you will find there's loads of write-ups. Read lots of them. Read write-ups in taxation. I can't remember whether we've done it in Taxline, but if we haven't, we ought to. Read a lot of people's views on it, because I think that's what's going to be taken out on the road. And personally, what I'd say is I wouldn't be going back before Samadian was decided, but what I'd be doing is making sure that in future, if I think Samadian applies to my client, that I follow it. It's a very tricky case. It is a very tricky case. Any others? Okay, one last minute, because I put this on and I forgot to tell you, and you might not know about it, so hang on. Let me just go back to it. Oh, it was on here. Hang on. Go down. Back. Okay. Those of you who are not members of the tax faculty, well, the first thing I'm going to say is why not? It's extremely good value for money. However, whether you are a member of the tax faculty or not, you may not have seen this. So if I'm on ICAW Home, if you scroll down to the highlights box, you'll see working with HMRC. On there is loads and loads, which is all free, whether you are a member of the faculty or not. So Tax Tools 1, that's what I use when I want to ring HMRC. Okay, and I'll go in there and I'll say, right, I want to ring debt management and banking. I know there's an agent dedicated line, there's the number. So there are all the useful phone numbers, including technical lines, R&D's offices and things like that. You'll see over here, we've now got some guidance up on the VAT MOS scheme, the place of supply changes, and we've pulled together lots of resources there. The reason I wanted to mention it is that if I do these crib sheets that I've said I'll do, I might well put them up under Tax Tools. So we've got how to make a complaint, paying tax, all their bank accounts and reference number structures, and even now free tax tables, don't tell Tollies. What we're also going to do is we're going to road test a load of bookkeeping apps by practitioners and then give you a tool that's got a list of them, what they do, and what ordinary blokes on the street thought they were good at or bad at. It's going to be a little while, but you can have those tax tools for nothing. So, why not join? Right, end of ad for the tax faculty. I will get shot if I don't stop. So I'll stop now, but I'll see you in coffee in a few minutes.
Thank you very much, Rebecca. Can I just mention, actually, there was a Blackberry left in a cab outside and somebody arrived, so if it's yours, the lady's outside the